is the Midlands at this point.
So far, she's a translator, and
Right.
I've kind of guided myself.
Yeah. We just happened to come here. You didn't guide me anywhere.
Well, they decide that they're going to go talk to the Birdman now. He had a bone necklace, just like both of our heroes. He has a little like bird bone on a necklace.
Actually, in our Patreon episode,
Yeah.
we just talked about bone magic, and bird bones are very commonly used in necklaces because they're hollow.
Right.
So you can string them together easily.
And we also talk in that episode about how sometimes they use bird bones to call spirits.
Right, because birds call.
Right, and he uses this bone to call the hawk in this episode.
So if you guys aren't subscribed to our Patreon feed, you definitely should.
You're missing out, let
There's
me tell
some
you.
cool stuff.
There's some knowledge over there.
I learned a lot.
So the hawk comes, and then they bring the hawk with them into the spirit house, right?
I just want to say, hawks are fucking huge.
Yeah.
And they're scary as hell. If you've ever been within 10 feet of one, they could slice you open like your butter.
Right.
They're terrifying.
I don't really remember exactly if I wrote down what happens to the hawk in this chapter, and I don't remember where it goes. Well, I feel like it does fly away. I don't remember if that happened before they went into the spirit house or not, though.
No, they talk for a little while, and then he lets it go.
Okay. So he brought it into the smoky as fuck spirit house?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
All right, I just wanted to verify that because I feel like that wasn't very cool.
I'm sure that's just where the bird wanted to be.
Yeah. Burny eyes, lungs full of smoke. He's giving the bird asthma. Anyways.
So the Birdman makes a weird comment to Kaylin. He's like, so, you haven't taken a mate, huh? And Kaylin is like, I don't fucking like the way you're talking to me. And so she asks him, yeah, no. She doesn't say yeah. She goes, no. Are you offering yourself up? And he's like, no.
Nope.
No. And he kind of changes the topic. He goes, where's your wizard? Like, sore spot, huh?
There should be a man I can talk to about this.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asks if Richard is a true seeker. Because we once had a seeker who came here who he wasn't very true and he killed a lot of people and he didn't die very quickly.
Yeah, you would think that Richard coming in and Kaylin telling them that he's the seeker and they all bow down, don't you think they'd have a different...
Oh yeah, after a previous one coming and being yeah.
Oh, you're a seeker, huh? Well, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you and all the seekers.
Maybe, okay, now here's the theory. If you slap somebody, it shows respect. If you hit them hard, apparently, enough to fatten their lip, it shows a lot of respect. I wonder, and this is kind of a twisted line of thinking, but if the previous false seeker came in and killed a bunch of them, maybe they have reverence for the name seeker because, like, you know, in the way of if a man kills another man in battle, then he gets respected because he's strong. Maybe this guy snuck in and killed a bunch of us, so, like, we respect the fuck out of him. We don't like him, but, you know, you have to have respect for the guy that comes in and kills all your soldiers.
What? Didn't they... No, they bowed to him because he was a spirit man.
Oh, well, yeah, I know. Okay.
But another thought that I just had is that we know that the first wizard has to give out the sword to the next seeker. So if this seeker came to the village and killed a whole bunch of people and they killed him very slowly, then the first wizard had to have gone there to get the sword back. So maybe he was like, yo, sorry about that.
My bad, guys.
It wasn't a good one. I will fix... Maybe that's where Zach got it.
Could very well be.
And he was like, I'm going to fix this. Next time it won't be so bad.
Well, and he asks Richard, you're the one that was named by the wizard, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember that.
Well, in the last guy obviously wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, key piece of information to have there. You've been, like, legit named, right? Because we know Zed. And if Zed named you, I mean, assuming he got the sword from there, if he named you, we trust him, we trust you a little more. We know at least you're not the false one. You are the actual dude.
Right.
The chosen one that we can't comprehend. But the clouds are still a cool trick. Sorry.
Kalen's like, you don't want to piss off this seeker. He's a true seeker, and he's gonna fuck you up, okay, if you do piss him off. And that's when Richard's like, are you guys done threatening each other? Because we can move on.
Right.
Which I thought was really funny, that he can't understand what they're saying, but he got the tone correctly. So, Birdman, BM, he asks how many will die if they refuse to help. And Richard's like, none. Then BM's like, how many will Rawl kill if we refuse? And Richard's like, many. So BM's like, that seems like you're arguing for us to help Rawl, because obviously we should not refuse the one who's going to murder us otherwise. And Richard's like, you guys can remain neutral if you want, but Rawl will come for you. If you help Rawl, I'm going to beat him, and then I'm going to come back for you.
You can say no to me, and I won't punish you for that. But if you join up with him, or you stay neutral and you're taken over by him, then you're on their side.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do to help you.
Yeah. And if you're on his side for sure, like you're giving help, then you're definitely not on my side, and fuck you.
Then I'm going to come back here, and you're going to wish that you had made this deal now.
Yeah. BM is like, we just want to be left alone, man.
Yeah. You can really feel for him here because he just wants to keep his village safe. And Dark and Raw wanting a box and Richard trying to stop him from that. None of this has anything to do with the Mud People.
Yeah, it really doesn't at all.
I mean, they're involved. They're in the middle of it, quite literally, in the Midlands. Has nothing to do with them, so they are being forced into this situation. So it is pretty fucking awful that they even have to deal with any of this.
Yeah. Richard's like, I get it, man. I was just hanging out in the Westland, and I got pulled into this shit. But if Rawl were here, he would have your help or your head. Which is why I'm not going to hurt you if you decide not to help, because I'm not like that.
That makes me just as bad as he is.
Right.
And he's the bad guy. Again, I'd like to point out, I'm the good guy.
Right. I'm not that guy, okay?
Right.
BM's like, all right, you know what? It's a wise man who seeks help by helping and not threats or trickery. Which, yeah.
Seems like a fair adage to follow.
Yeah.
You know, that does kind of tend to point out the fact that he is the leader, because none of the elders that we were talking to had a wise old adage like that to add.
Right.
To kind of cool everybody's heads and like, no, let's think about this logically, boys. None of that.
Really, honestly, the elders didn't say anything at all of any note. Toph was like, we got food. You can hang out. Maybe we'll say yes later, but meh.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. They didn't give him an answer. So, I mean, Richard and Kaylin were right to assume that the Birdman is in charge.
Yeah.
And guess what? He's in fucking charge. So the Birdman tells him that outsiders have never been permitted a gathering. Nobody wants to think they can be called from the spirit world for an outsider problem.
Right. I mean, I don't blame them for that.
No. I mean, I don't like my kids bugging me half the time. I don't want somebody else's kids bugging me.
Exactly. Especially when you're
know?
down for your dirt nap, the nap of all naps.
Right.
You don't want to be woken up by anybody for that shit.
I'm sleeping here.
Don't call me back for a stranger.
You know, I didn't think about it in those terms until just right now. And now that we've brought this up, it's exactly right.
Yeah.
What? What do you want? Who are you? What?
Either I'm napping or I'm chilling with some people out here in the spirit world doing spirit world things, and you need to leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
Okay?
This better be important. Come
for
on.
Real.
Kaylin says that helping them will help the Mud People, and the Birdman says eventually, but not in the beginning. Like, yeah, it's going to be worse before it gets better. Foreshadowing.
Oh, yeah.
We won't go into more detail, but I didn't want to pass it and not bring it up, because the Birdman is smart.
Right.
And he knows some shit.
Right. Eventually, in the long run, yeah, helping Richard is going to make everything okay. But in the short term, shit's going to get bad.
Is this the thing? Is this the
Maybe.
thing early on in the book that Terry was saying is kind of a clue to later on in the books, but they'll never tell because they are the ancestors of the mud people and we are all outsiders, so they won't tell us? If maybe the Birdman just said something by saying, hey, it's all going to turn out in the end. I know this. Everybody's going to be better off.
The mud people will eventually be cool.
How far does that go?
I don't know.
A few books? A dozen books?
And maybe once they potentially call the spirits, they're going to say something like, pay attention to the mud people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I like the mud people.
I like their names, but they're hard to get my mouth around the first couple times.
I feel like, yeah, the names are hard. But the Birdman, much like Zed, I feel like I could hang out with.
I feel like Zed and the Birdman could hang out.
Oh, for sure. Smoke a peace pipe.
I was just thinking...
I mean, the Birdman has his hawk, and Zed has I know it's just
cat.
on the TV show. He has the cat, but I'm thinking about Clara the chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Who's not a book thing, but I like so much.
Then they could have munchies.
Yeah. They'd
And
eat a lot.
eat a lot and smoke the peace pipe.
But as Richard does, he thinks of a loophole.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes up with a plan. He goes, what if I was a mud person? And the Birdman says, well, that would work, but, you'd have to do some shit for us and prove you're one of us. And still, there's no promise after that. Like, you have to earn your space completely independent of you asking us for shit first, before that would even be considered.
Okay, couple things. First, I just want to say real quick that they keep saying no outsiders have ever done anything before, and Birdman is like super quick to be like, oh yeah, man, we could totally make you one of us.
Well, he's in charge. He can make that call.
Yeah, no big deal. Second point was just that it's a weird conundrum to be like, yeah, you could be one of us if you do a good deed with no expectation of repayment, but like now that you know that there's a potential for you to become a mud person, there's no real way for you to do a good deed without hoping for repayment.
Right. Yeah, he kind of screwed him just by saying that out loud. But I feel like Richard could still fall under that category because he brought the rain.
Oh, because they already did something.
He did bring the rain, and they needed the rain because they've been in a drought, and he didn't expect shit for that. Yes, he was already hoping, but specifically for bringing them the rain, he didn't try to do that, so he wasn't thinking that these people are going to pay me because I brought them water.
He was like, whoops, you're welcome.
Exactly.
Sorry, no, son. Oh, you like that? Yeah, I did that on purpose.
That was me.
Can I be a mud person?
If it was a bad thing, then it was the other guy.
Then
That's how you can tell I'm the good guy.
Birdman explains that after you do something good, then you could potentially become a mud person, then potentially get them to call a council, then potentially a gathering. And maybe the spirits will help. All we can do is our best. It's kind of a shit shot.
Yeah, and Richard asks Kaylin what she thinks about this whole situation. Like, is there any other mud people we could talk to? Maybe they can do the same thing. She's like, oh yeah, there totally is, but they're 3 weeks away. So we can either do this thing now and do it the hard way, or we can, pack up and roll. And Richard's like, what do I do? And I thought this was fantastic because I'm assuming this book takes place a long time ago, right? In the 1300s? I don't know. I don't know if there's dates actually ascribed to the books. That would be really interesting to find out.
It could be happening now, but it's in an alternate universe.
That could very well be too. But as long as there has been men and women, there has been the discussion and argument about what the fuck you want to eat. Mm-hmm. And this is great because Kaylin wins. Kaylin totally wins the argument because they're discussing, okay, these are our options. We could do this or we could do this. And Kaylin goes, you're the seeker. It's up to you, dude. Kaylin wins.
Yep.
Richard has to pick dinner.
She's like, I know more, but you're the seeker.
It's
I'm
up to you.
Out.
Your call. Damn it. Shit.
Richard asks Kaylin, though, if she will hate him if he chooses wrong.
I'll be really fucking annoyed.
No, she says she could never hate him.
I feel like that's too big a promise to make right now.
Yeah, I mean they've only known each other